Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a little rant I have to make. I have a bit of a theory, and it makes me really upset to think that this is the reason for many people why they hate a specific game, a specific game's control. And maybe this doesn't just apply to this game, maybe it applies to other games as well, or maybe it will apply to other games in the future. It makes me really upset that it's just popped to my head, and it's a really logical reason. I have the feeling that this is the reason for many people why they don't like this game's control. The game I'm talking about is Sonic Lost World on the 3DS. People say that the control is way too slippery, and that it's often not easy to tell, like, it's the platform, they have difficulties playing the game pretty much. Because of the control, the way the controls work, they are very slippery. Often the game goes into camera angles that make it kind of hard to see where Sonic is. It's a bit of a problem with depth perception. Very often it's a problem with depth perception. The depth perception, if you don't have good depth perception in 2D games, like 3D games being displayed on a 2D screen, then you can also often not really utilize the stomp feature in your favor, because the stomp makes you go down at just instantly, which can often help you because maybe you have problems with the mid-air control, and then you can just utilize the stomp to fall on the ground directly, which can often help you, but it's difficult to do because, again, it's a problem with depth perception. This is what I would say if I was a fucking dipshit. You know? There is a solution to your problems with depth perception. Just turn the goddamn 3D on! That's what the 3D is for! And that's exactly one thing that Nintendo said about Mario 3D Land. They think it's great to have this on the 3DS because you can see in mid-jump where you are because it's 3D. That's exactly the point of the 3D of the 3DS. And now you might be saying, well, why didn't they just make the game control better? Why do they have these weird camera angles? Well, the camera angles is, of course, very easily explained. They took advantage of the 3D being able to make these camera angles and make the game look much prettier and much more awesome, because now you don't need a camera that follows the movements of the player and helps them see where they're going anymore, because they can see where Sonic is in mid-jump. And secondly, the control. Why didn't they just improve the control? Well, because the way the control works is that when you jump then in mid-air, Sonic will keep all of his momentum no matter what direction you turn. So if you just rotate the circle pad in mid-jump, you will go like in a spiral. Like if you have an object like this and you come from behind, you can pretty much jump around it entirely because you can change your direction in mid-jump. This usually would be a stupid way to design a game's control, but I think in this game it was a fair trade-off, because you now have the better depth perception because of the 3D. You can utilize the stomp in your favor, things like that. The game is much easier to control because of the 3D. And the way Sonic handles in mid-air allows for many different ways to play the game. You can do all kinds of different shortcuts. You can do all kinds of different ways to break stages, pretty much. If you just know how to utilize this mid-air control that lets you keep all your momentum even if you change your direction in mid-air, and in conjunction with things like the parkour system, which is also really well implemented. I feel like this was a conscious choice they made. Make the control a bit more, make the control better for shortcuts and give the player more freedom, at the trade-off of the control being a bit worse with basic platforming. But that's excusable because the 3D works in your favor with the controls. I feel like it's a really stupid thing for people to complain about a 3D platformer's game, of a 3D platformer game, the control of a 3D platformer game. I feel it's really stupid for people to complain about that in a game that they have never tried playing with the 3D mode on, which You can you can just turn it on. It's not difficult. If you have a difficult jump, even if you get a headache easily, then you can turn it on for whatever jump you're having trouble with. It's just mind-boggling. I don't get it. The 3D is the main feature, the main gimmick with the 3DS. And in this game, the Dimps really took advantage of it. They really crafted a game that is based around the 3D, that the 3D gives real improvement. Of course, it's like if you were playing Brawl with the Wiimote alone because you don't like the nunchuck or the classic controller. Same with Mario Kart Wii. Say you play with the Wiimote only because you don't like the nunchuck or the classic controller. That's just a stupid decision to make, because the games were designed around using the classic controller, designed around using the nunchuck or whatever. They, of course, have to be compatible with you playing with the Wiimote only, or in the case of Sonic Lost World and 3DS, this also has to be kind of designed around you being able to play it in 2D. And also keep in mind that when this game came out, I think the 2DS wasn't announced yet. And I mean, they've been working on this game for a lot longer than that even, and I don't think they had the information that there'd be a 2DS. They thought that they probably thought that everyone would get the chance to play this game in 3D and take advantage of what they've done to improve it, to optimize it for 3D. It's just such... seriously. And it's probably gonna apply to other 3D platformers on the 3DS in the future. There's probably people who hate Mario 3D Land because it controls badly, and they've never tried playing it with the 3D on. There's probably gonna be people who say Sonic Boom controls badly because they don't try playing it with the 3D on. It's just... If I ever see anyone say that, who has never tried to play one of these games with the 3D on, I'm seriously gonna just want to punch them because it's just so stupid. It's, I don't know if this actually applies to anyone, but I think it does, because people like Some Call Me Johnny, I think, I know that Some Call Me Johnny rarely ever plays with the 3D on, and he has stated before that he thinks that Sonic Lost World sometimes controls really slippery or Clement. I think he plays with the 3D off too, and he thinks that the game controls like really slippery, and you get my point? It's just silly. It's just really silly. It's just really stupid, and I can't stand it. I can't stand it that this might be the reason that people don't like Sonic Lost World on the 3DS, even though I think it's a great game. It's a great addition to the Sonic franchise. It's I think it's even better than the Wii U version. It certainly has a lot more focus. Sure, the level design is sometimes pretty bad, but the control is just so good, and I think it's really good. And that's probably because I am one of the only people ever who thinks that the 3D was a good idea and that it's awesome. I don't know. Maybe one of you can prove this to me. I know that I played pretty terribly. Like, sometimes there's this one wisp that, it's the rock wisp. I don't know what it's actually called. It's a rock that rolls around that you have to control with the gyro sensor. And when you control something with the gyro sensor, you of course have to turn off the 3D. And then there were like sections with platforming in between the different rock wisp segments. Like there's the rock wisp, and then there's a bit of platforming, and then there's another segment that you play with the rock wisp. I didn't bother to turn the 3D back on for these platforming segments in between because I knew I would have to turn it off again soon, and that made me play totally terribly. I know that this is a thing that can happen, and I feel like this is why the game gets so much hate for its controls, because people just don't play it with the 3D on. Okay, I've been going on about this for way too long, but please, if there's any 3D platformer on the 3DS that you thought didn't control well, any game really, any action game that requires you to have good depth perception, if there's certain parts of the game that you have a lot of trouble with and you blame the game's controls for it, please just try to, at least for that one jump that you can do or whatever, please try to turn the 3D on for a second. the developers, up until the release of the 2DS, were probably all thinking everyone's gonna utilize, everyone's gonna utilize the 3D effect, or most people at least, and so we probably should design this game around it. And I don't know, camera, what are you doing? Yeah, okay, please give it another chance. Turn the 3D on for the sections that you have problems with. And yeah, I hope I didn't offend anybody. I just think it's so stupid how people, I can't prove this, but I can prove that it is a thing that can happen by me playing really terribly when I have the 3D off in Sonic Lost World. Alright, I'm sorry that this has gone on for so long, but I will see you next time on something else. Until then.